Hello there, kia ora. It's been a hot minute, but I'm back. I've actually spent most of the last week in bed catching up with the flu. But I wanted to thank everybody who reached out to check up on me. It was really lovely and greatly appreciated. You see, the problem I've got though is that it seems that so much happens all the time that jumping in with one topic kind of feels futile. And because there's so much happening, resistance feels futile. Look, since Saturday, we've had that US presidential debate that somehow nobody won, claims from National that they'd sorted the cost of living by removing the Auckland regional fuel tax, which doesn't help anybody outside of Auckland. But they've also increased things like the costs of car registration, public transport, rents, power, rates bills, and telling parents to start doing some weird and complicated paperwork to maybe get a partial rebate on early childcare. They slashed funding for the Auckland City Mission, they reintroduced prescription fees and started charging for COVID 19 related doctor visits. They moved the Bright Line test back to 2 years. They announced plans to introduce congestion charges in our major cities. National also admitted that Labour was right to back a media plan forcing tech giants to pay for content. Both minor parties in the coalition have used their agree to disagree clause in their agreements. The government cancelled reading recovery programs. David Seymour gave everyone the ick by being ick. Business confidence tanked even further under the government. Business seems to love, and spending data in June showed the lowest level of spending since the 1980s stock market crash. The government is also bringing in standardized testing and structured literacy for everyone except those who go to a charter school who don't have to follow those 1960s style processes. There were 27 translators who wrote an open letter to the Prime Minister saying ACT's Treaty Principles Bill was so deeply flawed it fails on international translation ethics standards and was made up of additions, omissions, and distortions. Shane Jones called for AI to create content instead of allowing kapahaka groups to use their voice to protest the government. Luxon released his latest quarterly action plan where more decisions will be taken and the country will continue to be treated like a business despite the fact it isn't and never has been. The NZDF said the Defence Minister was wrong about their involvement in children's boot camps. The Minister said they were wrong and contradicted the PM about the topic, all after a defence briefing showed that staff running a military-based courses like this had suffered serious mental distress and suicidal thoughts after dealing with violent and at-risk youth. Kainga Ora has a new board coming in with the new boss praising the good work the last board did in direct opposition to how the Prime Minister described their work, while the government also cancels and pauses current planned builds but keeps saying we need more houses at the same time they're throttling the construction industry. Lab workers went on strike, an independent investigation was launched against Andrew Bidder for his remarks, and up the Wars flag was flown at Glastonbury. Christchurch's new stadium got a name and it's the One New Zealand Stadium, and England goes to the polls today. Wow, it's unbelievable just how much can happen over such a short amount of time, and it feels like a constant onslaught. There's always a lot happening and always a lot to try and focus on. And having the last few days off to recover showed me exactly why it's so important that we all realize that sometimes we need a break to step back and catch our breath. So, I'm just going to leave you with a simple message today. Don't let everything get too overwhelming and make sure you look after yourselves out there. There's so much going on all the time that's adding to everybody's stress levels that the best thing you can do sometimes is to sit back and look after yourself.